Alright, bitches, so we're on to episode 41 of Dragon Ball Super. And this episode is called Come Forth, Dragon of the Gods, Grant My Wish, Pretty Peas. Or it might be like Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. I've seen two different variants of exactly how this is. Regardless, it must be some sort of pun in Japanese that's hard to translate. I understand. So this episode begins with the King of Everything, as he's called, standing there on the stage with his two, diesel-ass looking bodyguards. These guys must be strong as fuck. And anyway, Whis, Beerus, Vados, Champa, they quickly realize they shouldn't be, floating above the god of everything, and they fly down there and, assume position. Supreme Kai doesn't recognize exactly who this is, and the old Kai kind of grabs him, and, all the different Supreme Kais, they get down in kind of like a bowing position in front of the king of everything, and he kind of says, what's interesting is that he has a very, very childish voice, and, it's got, this smile on his face. And he kind of mentions, yeah, I noticed that you guys were doing something so arbitrarily. Skipping out on your God of Destruction task is not good at all. And Whis and Vados are quick to snitch on Beerus and Champa. Whis points out how Beerus is more interested in sleeping and food than he is in doing his job as the God of Destruction. And Vados points out how Champa is neglecting his health. That's why his body's like that, and she prepares nutritious meals for him, and he says that her food tastes really, really bad, and she's putting on the waterworks, kinda. And the king of everything, he says, oh, well, I guess I should appoint new gods of destructions then. And Beerus and Champa are like, ah! And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And he says that he came there because he was concerned about what was going on, but he really enjoyed what he saw. So it sounds like he was watching most, if not all, of the matches. And he suggests that they should do it again, just with contestants from every universe, which sounds really interesting, actually. That could be pretty cool. And Goku just walks up. He's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. And he, tries to walk up to the King of Everything. And, his two bodyguards, they sort of, phase, in and out of reality. It's kind of cool to sort of block Goku from getting close. And, Beerus is freaking out, you can't speak to him so casually. And, he's just the, king of everything, Omni King, Zeno-sama, whatever exactly you're gonna say. He's kind of just oh, it's fine, it was a good match. And he walks over to Goku, and, they start talking about how exciting it's going to be for the next tournament. And Goku sort of reaches down, to shake hands with, Zeno-sama. And everyone is sort of ah! You see, shocked faces on everyone just looking at it. And, his two bodyguards are glaring at him. And, he reaches up and shakes Goku's hand and everything is okay. And he's kind of oh, you're a strange guy. All right, see you next time. And he just fucks off. It's pretty funny. So then Champa decides to leave, now that he lost. And he says that, his loss in this tournament isn't such a big deal, now that there's going to be a tournament hosted by, the King of Everything, which will be, the real tournament. This was just a warm-up. And so he leaves, and Kabe comes over to Vegeta, and he's doing the same shit from, One Punch Man with Genos and Saitama, where he's like, all right, mentor, I'll look forward to, you visiting Planet Saddle sometime soon. And the word he uses is Shisho, which most of the time I see translated into master. And Vegeta's kind of I'm not your master or whatever. And then Kabe is yes, I understand, master. It's that hilarious thing. And then Goku kind of walks over to Hit, and he says, I don't know when this tournament that they're talking about is going to take place, but if you can't wait that long, we can fight after 3 days another time. So it sounds like it'll take Goku 3 days to recover from his use of the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. And Hit just walks away. He doesn't say anything. And then Goku's just all right, bye then. And then we see that, like, Mr. Boo, that's what, Mr. Satan calls him. But Majin Buu wakes up. Mr. Satan says that he should use Monica's image for his gym, since, it's assumed by everyone that Monica is, like, the super powerful, ridiculous, OG. And we see Bulma talking with Beerus, and she makes Beerus promise not to use the Super Dragon Balls, for a bad wish. And she says she'll complain to the King of Everything if he does. So then Bulma turns on the Super Dragon radar, and she's trying to find where the last Super Dragon Ball is. And she said it's hopeless unless we find out where the exact center of the universe is. And it's interesting because Android 18 is standing right there, and she looks over and she's like, aren't all 7 balls present there already? And Bulma, like, zooms back in, and it shows that all 7 Dragon Balls are there. And they're like, oh, shit. But that's weird, because they look up, and there's only 6 floating around. And what happens is Monica actually walks up to Whis, and he says, because of my job, I look at maps of the universe a lot, look at it from a 3D point of view. And so what Whis does is he gathers everyone into, the cube, and they all get out, and they float back, and Whis kind of, I guess you could say destroys the planet, but more likely he destroys the shell that was around the nameless planet. Turns out it wasn't actually a planet. They were battling on the last Super Dragon Ball itself. So, very convenient, but actually it makes sense if there's just a random planet, floating in between the 6th and 7th universe. I guess it actually kind of makes sense, and I buy it, that it was a Super Dragon Ball. And of course, you can guess exactly what Super Dragon Ball it was. The 4-star ball. Funny enough, Goku? But so there it is. They have all 7 Super Dragon Balls right in front of them available for use. And Piccolo talks about how after granting a wish long ago, when the Super Dragon Balls spread around, the Super Dragon Ball probably, collided with asteroids and, like, collected rocks surrounding it to make it actually look like a planet. So Bulma tells Beerus and Whis the info she got from, the guy who knew everything, who was Zuno, right? Z-U-N-O. And then now there's Zeno, who's the king of everything. Those are pretty close. But she tells him the incantation they have to say in the language of the gods. So Beerus has Whis say it, and it's actually like 5-minute long as, the dragon sort of comes out of the Dragon Balls, and you could see it's like, basically the biggest thing ever, like huge and majestic. And it's weird because it looks like it's swallowing planets, and like all of like these like Milky Way like solar systems are all around it, and the shit is just like nuts. It's like really like, we're talking about some like Doctor Strange level shit going on with like all these lights and just the power mystic. It's like, holy fuck, I didn't realize I was getting into a Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange this early. But then when it finally goes back to everyone who are inside the cube, with Whis and Beerus, I guess they say that they're inside the body of the Super Shenron or Shenlong, and it looks like, it's weird, like some kind of universe-looking area that they're in. And eventually they're sort of like traveling through it, and they come across the center, which Beerus describes as the nucleus, or the core, which is like a version of Super Shenron itself. And it, is talking in the language of the gods, obviously asking what they want their wish to be. And Beerus decides what he's going to wish for, and he says it, in this language of the gods that's not really clear exactly what they're saying. And Whis is like, are you sure about that wish? And Beerus says, yes, tell him. So, Beerus and Whis make whatever wish it is that they want to, and then you see the super dragons split apart, all the Dragon Balls, fly away. And, like, Goku and Vegeta and stuff, they ask, like, so, Beerus, what did you wish for? And he's like, I'm not telling. And Goku's like, well, that's super selfish. And he's like, fine, I wished for a bed which is more comfortable than my current bed. And they're like, what? You idiot! And Beerus is like, oh, don't call me an idiot, I'll kill you for real. And then the scene cuts over to Vados and Champa traveling through space. And Vados shows Champa, on her staff, she could see what happens. She shows Champa Earth. And he's like, I don't want to see that shit. Cut that bullshit off. And she says, no, this is the Earth of Universe 6. And all the people on it were revived. And its culture is very similar to the Earth of Universe 7. So it's clear that the wish Beerus and Whis must have made was something along the lines of resurrect the Earth of Universe 6 and possibly make it similar to the Earth of Universe 7. Worded, somewhere along those lines, I'm sure. And Vados and Champa both deduce exactly what happened. Beerus wished for it. And as they're talking about it, one of the Super Dragon Balls fly by. And, Champa kind of smiles and he's like, that bastard, he pisses me off. And, Whis mentions it to Beerus, like, that was quite nice of you. And Beerus is like, well, I just wanted Champa to owe me one. Then they're on Beerus' planet, and Goku is trying to do a spar with Monica. He's like, let me fight Monica. And Beerus tells him to fuck off. And then we see, it looks like Monica is some sort of, like, delivery man. Like, it looks like he might be like a galactic mailman or something. And Beerus gives him a truckload of treasure as payment for what he did. And he tells Monica that he'll use him as motivation, for Goku even further down the line. And Monica looks like real surprised by that. And then with the last shot, it shows everyone arriving back on Earth. Whis is taking them back. And like Goku's talking about how great the tournament with every universe is going to be. And, they did it. They won the tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7. But I have got to say, I am actually quite intrigued by the possibility of, like, a bigger tournament than this. But if they're going to have all the universes, Hit was cool, Kabe was cool, but, like, Frost, I'm sorry. They could have done a little better with the character in Frost's spot. We just did the Resurrection of Frieza arc. We didn't need to see that. And Botamo got sunned by, Son Goku so fast that he was garbage. I'm okay with the Metal Fighter. Kabe was awesome. And then Hit, obviously, was fucking awesome. But, those other two slots they probably could have done better with. I am excited because, this tournament later on, whenever they get to it, it had better be 50 episodes long, crazy fights. I want to see Gohan Super Saiyan Blue. I want to see all this bullshit. Really, really hype. I want to see someone stronger than Hit. I want Goku to, show off a new Super Saiyan form. Those are the type of things I'm looking forward to in this tournament. And then in the preview for the next episode, we see Goku fighting Monica, which is a little strange because we know that Monica does not actually have power like that. So I'm guessing the next episode is going to be a filler episode akin to what we had immediately after the Battle of the Gods between Goku and Beerus, where Mr. Satan talked about, what happened and he had put himself in that role and he went Super Saiyan and stuff. It's probably going to be something along those lines. A filler episode, but, that's alright, whatever.